Do you guys remember my little rant yesterday? If not, here's a little clip.
Here's a frustration that I have here living on base is that we have assigned parking and we only get one spot. For some reason, people are always thinking that it's okay to park their damn car in my parking spot.
Okay, I have an update for you guys. Jared came home from school yesterday and we kind of had a little stakeout. We waited for her to come out to her car.
Team, are you spying with me? Let's find the person who parked in our spot. Tell me if you see him.
Okay, so Jared and I did our stakeout. We sat there and waited. Actually, Jared made me hide underneath the window. But we did see her come to her car finally. And as she approached her car, she saw the signs and she took them off and immediately threw them on the ground. She didn't read them, she threw them on the ground.
I should go talk to her, but I'm not.
So here's some words of wisdom for you guys. Girls can change their mind, and I did. I decided to talk to her. So I ran out the door and ran behind her car, and as I was behind her car, she put her car in reverse and almost ran me over. Thankfully, I got to the passenger side and knocked on her window. And she looked really dumbfounded when she saw me, and I asked her to roll down her window. She failed to reply. I asked her again to roll down her window, and she did. She rolled down her window finally, and I said, "Could you please not park here? You're fully aware that this is assigned parking. In addition to that, sometimes my husband has to wear crutches, so it's inconvenience for me for her to park there." Her response basically was very rude. She apparently has not been taught to respect elders, nor has she been taught how to talk to adults. Basically, in a nutshell, she basically explained to me that I was rude and I had no right to touch her car. Needless to say, I had to teach her what assigned parking was and what visitor parking wasn't. I explained to her that she is in my parking spot. Technically, I have the right to touch anything in that parking spot because it belongs to me, not to her. I explained to her that apparently she needed to go back to school and learn if something is stating on a parking spot that has a number, that means it is signed. That means you cannot park there unless it was assigned to you. However, we do have visitor spots, and if it says VIS, that means you are allowed to park there. However, if there is none available, then you need to go across the street to the provided parking lot for the school. She basically told me that my name was not on the spot, and I told her, well, technically, no, my name is not on the spot, but the number is, and that means it is assigned, so therefore she is not to park there. Finally, she left in a hurry. She was really upset, but I felt better just explaining to her not to park there again. But watch.
Anyways, I just want to share this with you guys. I thought it was really funny. The person that parked in our spot decided to park in somebody else's spot, which is great. You're not in my spot, but you're causing a problem for another person. So I decided to do something about it.
So when I saw her car, I decided to write down the tag number that I recorded yesterday. I walked over and confirmed that yes, that was her car. And I also confirmed that it was assigned parking and it was not visitors, which was the case. So I decided to walk to the school and have a conversation.
Home of the bison. Here we go. Room 110. Okay.
Okay, so I walked into the school. I walked straight to the office. It wasn't very hard to find, thankfully, because I've never been. As soon as I walked in, they noticed me and they asked if they could help me. And I said, yes, I'd like to know what your policies are with your students parking in assigned parking spots that they're not allowed to be parking in. She said that I would need to speak with the building coordinator, and I said, well, unfortunately, I spoke with your student yesterday. Then you told me that there wasn't many students that actually drove. I said, well, apparently this one is one of your students, and I did speak with her yesterday. So we talked a little bit, and I explained the situation. We went into detail. I even told her that I had video of her walking up to the car and grabbing the notes and throwing them on the ground. Somehow in the interim, with them reviewing the video because they wanted to see the video, and it was being passed around the office, it got deleted. So I wish I could have showed you guys that, because it was very interesting, because when she saw the notes, she didn't even look at them, she didn't read them, she just threw them on the ground, and I had it on video. And it was funny because Jared's response was like, oh, you got her littering too. So yeah, it was really funny. But so they were trying to figure out who this girl was. They grabbed yearbooks for me to go through, and they were like, well, is it this person? Is it this person? Is she fat? Is she skinny? Is she this? Is she that? No. And it was just, it was interesting. So they were trying to figure out who it would be. One guy was trying to call a parent because they thought they knew who it was, but it wasn't. One of the women that worked in the office went outside and ran into a group of seniors and asked, do you know who drives a Ford Fiesta? And one of the kids knew, and they gave her the name Scarlett Fuller. So they called her into the office. While they called her, they told me that I can go in a room right next to them, and I could see out, but she couldn't see in. And if it was her, to give them a thumbs up, and they would basically call her in later today regarding the situation. So here I am in the room. And lo and behold, it was her. I am so impressed that they actually took the time to investigate and find the person for me, and also to take matters in their hands. Technically they didn't have to, but they did. They called her, and again, they had a conversation with her, told her about being polite to people, especially when they're in the wrong, which of course is something that their parents should be doing, not the school. But that's another story. So that's done. She moved her car, so we should still see what happens on Monday or the rest of the week, and I'll keep track to see if she parks in one of the assigned parking spots, just on principle. I'm going to attach part of the conversation at the end of this video.
I have a question. What is your policies with a student constantly parking in assigned parking spots?
You need to take that up with your colleague first.
Okay, because I talked to her yesterday.
You must not take a picture of this student, you know?
I don't know, I have her time number.
Okay.
And she literally just,
What do you need to do?
I even a sign on her car,
I had
huh?
to get a room too.
Right
I
there.
already gave you one.
And my husband's on crutches, so I don't need her taking my
That's
spot.
the whole day.
No, that's true.
You're
You're
in
right.
class.
Mr. Moore,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
have a student, and you
For
talked to
cracking?
the student. You
I talked to her
told
yesterday and
Correct.
she's very rude.
Do you know what she looks like?
Yeah, she's Spanish, she has a piercing in her right here.
I wonder if that's a good match.
Yeah.
She has a
She
Ford
drives. She
Fiesta.
drives. So who would that be? We
We
don't
have
ever
a
need
student that
students.
drives?
We don't have many students driving.
Yeah, well, she's parking in my parking spot yesterday. I put a note on her car. I saw her come out, she grabbed the note and she threw it
When
on the
was
ground.
Are you sure
Yesterday?
it's a student?
Yeah, she even had her backpack. She even told me she comes here. So, but she parked in another spot today, and it's a constant thing with this particular person. But she's very confrontational, and I said, look, I asked her, could you please not park here? My husband's on crutches. She's like, it's very rude of you to touch my car. And
You're kidding me.
no, I'm not. I'm
I'm
not
trying to
kidding
think
you.
if Diana has
I'm
any.
trying to think
Is
of
she,
Diana
you
has-
said she's
she
Hispanic?
kinda heavy set.
No, she's a slender girl.
Oh.
You might,
I know,
and
it doesn't.
and she's
Did she wear a lot
Hispanic?
of makeup? Because I think I know who it might be.
Yeah, she had dark
The other
eyeliner.
day, did she have on a JRTC uniform, combat, or not combat?